Hi everyone, welcome back to the Casual Watch Review channel. In this week's episode, we'll be looking at the Spinnaker Fluess. This is another vintage-inspired dive watch from Spinnaker. You saw me previously reviewing the Bradner on the channel, and Spinnaker have kindly sent me this version, which is the Spinnaker Fluess. It's the SP-5055-04. Before I start, I just wanted to say a big thanks to Spinnaker for sending me this watch. This isn't a sponsored review from them. They haven't paid me to review this watch. They sent the watch in their hopes that I would review it, and they have not requested, been offered, or been given any input in this video, positive, negative, or otherwise. So let's dive straight into it. So this is the Spinnaker Fluess, and it's named after a legendary British inventor. His name was Henry Fleuss, and in the 1800s, he was responsible for improving underwater breathing apparatus, which helped further the exploration of the sea. This watch clearly has a lot of inspiration from vintage divers. We'd be remiss if we didn't point out the bezel that has a clear look and feel of a Blancpain 50 fathoms, but I think it has a lot of its own merits, which make this quite a good addition to the vintage line that Spinnaker produce. Overall, it's a larger case dive watch, and we'll be doing some measurements later on. We're using the tried and tested, the NH35a, so we have the hacking, we have hand winding in there. I think this is a solid movement, and I've had nothing but good experiences with it in my other Spinnaker watches and the other watches that have this movement. We can see here the exhibition case back. I wouldn't have minded if this was closed. The NH35A, although it's a solid movement, it's not that pretty a movement. We can see the Spinnaker rotor on the back where they've printed their name on there, which I suppose adds to it. This watch is at 150 meters water resistant, so not the 300 meters like the Spinnaker Bradner was. It comes on this leather, waterproof leather strap. Now, I'm glad to see in some of the newer models that Spinnaker have started putting rubber straps on. I've never really liked the look of these leather straps that come on these watches. In fact, my Spinnaker Bradner probably lasted about a day with its leather strap on, and then I wear that on a NATO, and it's still one of the watches that I regularly wear. It's regularly in rotation. I really like the design of that Bradner. This one certainly has its own charm. It has this bezel that I initially thought was bronze. And also, if you have a look on the website, it does look as if it's a bronze bezel. I was wondering whether, because it was bronze, whether it would age. We can also see the bronze crown here. It's more like a bronze-colored coating, so it probably won't age. But what that means is it will stay that color, so it will match both the hands here and the Spinnaker logo, which is applied on here and applied in that same finish, which I think gives the dial a great look. I'm a big fan of the hands on here. I'm glad they haven't gone for like Mercedes hands or something like that. They've gone with these very straight sword type hands. Plenty of loom on here, as you can see from the loom shot. There's loom in the bezel. There's loom on the numbers, generously applied like it was on the Bradner. It has the date on here with its surround. The date wheel is actually black, but that gives it a good contrast with the deep blue of the dial. And the dial for me is the knockout on this watch. It has a really nice texture to it that makes it look like the dial has been pre-aged. It has a texture that also changes in the light, which I'm a big fan of. The overall design of this dial and the quality of Spinnaker dials in general is impeccable, considering that these watches are under $300, and Spinnaker typically run regular promotions, so you can usually most times get these for less with discount codes. I think these watches honestly offer a great value for money. Moving around to the case side here, we can see the case looks very sort of Tudor Black Bay-esque in its chunkiness, an industrial design. We have these polished bevels on the lug here. We move round to the crown and we have this same finish on here with the Spinnaker logo. We have a 22mm lug width, 43mm diameter case, 51 millimeters from lug to lug, which does sound a lot, but we'll be doing a wrist shot in a bit, and actually it fits my wrist pretty well. Mine's a 7.5-inch wrist. We've got 316L stainless steel case, and the lumen over on here is C5. What I also like is the acrylic bezel is domed outwards, so it actually slightly distorts the numbers, which gives it that very nice vintage look. The watch with its band only weighs 95 grams, so it is very light on the wrist. And then it comes with that Spinnaker 2-year warranty, as with all Spinnaker watches. On the wrist, it's a very comfortable feeling watch. Although my reservations about the strap, it is comfortable. The lug-to-lug presence on the wrist fits my 7.5-inch wrist perfectly here. It's a very comfortable watch overall. I think this is a great addition to the Spinnaker line of vintage watches. For me, my favorite parts of the dial, I like the applied indices on the dial, the applied Spinnaker logo, as well as the vintage elements like the hands, the 150-meter water resistance, which is printed in red. I'm a fan of the date window, the way it's surrounded in white, and the minute and second track around the outside. Last shot before we finish, I wanted to show you how the Fleuss relates to the other watches in the line that I own. We have the Bradner on this side, still one of my all-time favorites, and a brand new addition to the collection, which Spinnaker sent me in for review, which is the Dumas. So guys, that was the end of my review. I'd be really interested to know what you guys think of this. If you leave me a comment in the comment section down below, letting me know what you think of this watch. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, I would love it if you hit that subscribe button and then hit the little bell icon so you're alerted every time I do an upload. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time on the Casual Watch Review channel. Thanks guys, bye.